Welcome, one and all, to one of the greatest SCOM events, Happy Learning. I'm Rajesh Samuta, Solution Architect with Mercedes-Benz R&D India Private Limited. It's a subsidiary of Daimler AG. My role in the organization demands the consulting various mounting tools and also building our tools catalog. Along with this comes the project management and the governance responsibilities as well. Right. In the session, we'll go through about the some of the SCOM best practices that we can use. It's a very less somehow there is a very less uh, talk about the project management aspect of SCOM in this SCOM community, and so I felt the need to raise this topic. We'll go through the different type of projects that are there in SCOM phases. What are the different aspects of the projects, who are the key stakeholders, possible integration of SCOM with multiple tools. We'll also deep dive into the same DB integration, which is also a very key topic when it comes to the mounting, and how important are the dashboards. And we'll also see some of the do's and don'ts of SCOM as well. Right. So I believe that there's so much more to SCOM than just a mounting tool. It is a service if provided done is provided right. It is absolutely important to feed SCOM with the business critical inputs rather than just the desired output. Against the usual practice of feeding anything and everything from customers' infrastructure, then makes sense of the delivered output. So let me give you an example. Suppose you are supporting an airline business, right? One fine day, the customer checking into the airport are unable to print the ticket or passes. So this created a huge chaos in the airport, and this led to the delay in the timeline and costing of the airline company and its reputation as well. Right? Another relatable example could be an e-commerce website. For example, the customer is ready to check out with a lot of items in the cart. So major efforts, right? Shopping can get tedious, but at the same time, the website also crashes at the payment option page. And this adds to the tension. This web page crashes frequently on the payment option page. Ever you wondered if you could have served the company from all of this mishap? Absolutely yes. Right? How? By understanding the customer requirement clearly, their business, their critical applications, and solution then various mounting options which are available in SCOM, as so that SCOM offers may have been with the default MPs or the custom MPs. Focus on what is being monitored and to get the desired output. The main mantra I would say that for any mounting solution is a proactive approach and not the reactive approach. Right. So moving on, let me take you through the behind the scene of SCOM implementations. This is going to be a more of a process oriented session rather than technical intricacies. Let's move forward with the next slides. So I categorized SCOM into four type of projects. One is transition, where you mostly would be doing the as is transition from your customer, right? The customer is already having an SCOM environment running, and you would be taking it over and you would be supporting it further. Second could be the implementation of SCOM from scratch or migration of SCOM to a newer version, right? Also, there's a possibility that you also would be migrating from another tool, a third-party monitoring tool to SCOM. The other scenario could be where you are supporting SCOM that would be in operations, and also where you would be handling the small in-flight projects. Right, where example, you are upgrading SCOM to a newest, latest UR version, right? Or importing a new management pack to cater, let's say, the exchange services or the SCCM services, or SharePoint services, and so on and so forth, right? The fourth could be you integrating SCOM with the other tools which are available in your infrastructure or your planning to get into your infrastructure. Right. In each of these projects, the core stakeholders plays a key important role, along with the steps that I mentioned on the right hand side that also compromised. They are there in the each phase of the project. So that could be the due diligence, scope of work, project plan, including VC and timelines, low-level design, and the handover to operations. So we'll deep down now and see. We'll see more about these type of projects and the key stakeholders role in the next slide. Right. So apart from SCOM administrator or the SCOM architect, right? So there are other key people who are also responsible for the smooth delivery of any of these four listed out projects. Slide CX represents the customer, and OP represents here the operational resource. Apart from the SCOM administrator or the architect, the project manager also plays an important role and in all of these four type of projects. Why the role of why the PM is needed? Because to collaborate between different teams, right, to do the governance part of it, to ensure the timelines of transition or implementation and migration, or maybe the integrations are met, or either when you are doing the smallest of the project, right? Example, you are doing a transition with your counterpart, right? And he might not be available, right? So the PM will ensure that his availability is there per the transition timelines. Maybe some information which you need during the transition phase, even maybe that is also not there, right? So he will ensure that you are getting the desired input from your counterpart for you to do the successful transition, or let's say the implementation or the migration. All right. So more or less the transition and the transformation projects, that is the implementation and migration projects, you will see the key stakeholders are more or less the same. In case of integrations, right? So let's say you are integrating SCOM with an ITSM tool, right? Or maybe a dashboard tool, right? So let's say, or maybe some other tool. Do you think the need of having a third party, the expert on the other tools who also should be a part of your period plan? Of course, yes, right? You might have done a similar integration before, but the customer environment varies from customer to customer, right? And based on their business, maybe the integration types also may vary, right? So definitely you also need the expertise of the third party consultant who is responsible, who is the SME or the subject matter expert in his area, right? I mentioned a common rule here in the transition, implementation, and integration, the pre-sales person, right? So what is the need of the pre-sales person here, right? He is the one who more or less would be doing the solutioning of the project, right? Uh, including the financials of the project, the resources that are needed to do a particular transition or implementation migration, or let's say the operations and integrations, right? Where the resource would be working, whether it would be on-site, offshore, right? What would be the support hours, right? Regarding the licenses also. So it's good to have in touch with the for a SCOM admin to be in touch with the or you with this pre-sales person as well as the product manager, so that you're also aligned with their vision of doing a smooth transition per their commitment with the customer. So this is why the pre-sales person also plays an important role here. So now we have seen that why it is, what are the different type of projects, who are the key stakeholders. Let us now also see the different type of uh, tasks primarily that one has to do for a good implementation or for a smooth implementation of SCOM project, right? So I have categorized them in the 5 phases. Uh, this slide doesn't talk about, or the previous slide doesn't talk about the sales portion of it, the budgeting, licensing, and the legal part of it. But there is where those are the key stakeholders. I think one should have in the project. And based on my experience with 40 plus customers across globe, at least that has worked for me when I'm aligned to those people and those persons. And these are the some of the steps that I've been following in my SCOM career starting on 2005. Uh, so it's important to have the due diligence. So what is due diligence? How it is important, right? As a part of DD, one has to ensure that you have an in-depth understanding of the customer business, critical applications, the infrastructure behind it, right? Ensure you have all the queries answered, ask the right question to the right audience, so that you can plan your solution better uh, and deliver them the desired output. Right, so there's always have that picture or the goal in your mind that you are relating your deployment, SCOM deployment of the wanting solution with the business need as well. Right. So here also in the due diligence process, uh, apart from this your SCOM counterpart, right? The PM is also one should have the PM also in this due diligence phase, so that the DD is completed on time and a DD report is also submitted for the sign off. Here also, the tools consultant, where I'm talking about the third party consultant, example, ITSM expert or the dashboard expert. So what all the tools that you are needing, that also should be the part of this DD. Now what next, right? Now you have done that DD, completed scope of work, right? Now you can write down the scope of work of your uh, deployment. You can scope what you will be doing. You can outscope what would be out of the mounting scope, right? What are the assumptions that you are taking up? Create the high level design for the customer based on the initial DD inputs. And have the SCOM counterpart and the PM also in this phase of the project, and submit the report for signed SOW. So once you have now the signed SOW, you can move forward and create your project plan, where you will list down your detailed steps that would include the breakdown of your SCOM tasks. In this phase, I would also like to mention that the RACI plays an important role here. RACI, the responsibility, accountability, consulted and informed, right? So apart from you, from the SCOM admin or the architect perspective, you also would be dependent on a lot of other infrastructure teams. Example, for network, you would need the firewall opening, right? For access also, you would be dependent on your Windows team or the Active Directory team, right? Similarly, for the OS and the hardware readiness also, you would be dependent on them. For SQL also, you would be dependent on the SQL team as well. So it's important to list down their task as well in your project plan, and also mention the teams that are responsible and the time in which you expect as a part of your SCOM deployment plan, uh, where what are their timelines, so that the project manager can follow up with them and can get your SCOM deployment moving, right? In this phase, now you're ready, you started your deployment. I would also like to mention that you can make use of the professional services support, which is also available by the Microsoft. You can also refer the technical documentation available by Microsoft on SCOM. There's a huge community around SCOM. There are very awesome bloggers which post their experiences and share their experiences. So make use of all of the knowledge around you. Talk to your manager if you need, or your management if you need the professional service example. Reach out to Microsoft support to raise a case also. Maybe you are stuck in one of the major steps which is impacting your time and to move forward in your period planning phase. Right. By the end of this deployment, you are ready to hand over your SCOM deployment to the operation team, whether maybe you are only supporting it or maybe you are handing it over to a different person. Always highlight that concern to your project manager so that the resource can be hired, the SCOM resource can be hired on time, uh, right? And then you can start supporting. In between the handover, you can now create the low-level design that would include what really you have done from the SCOM deployment perspective, listing down all the servers, SQL details, the network details. There's a possibility that when you initially started your work, the customer came up the last minute and raised the requirement of additional monitoring. Of course, the customer satisfaction comes first. You cannot deny, but within your timeline of SCOM deployment, you can also cater that. You can add everything there in your low-level design, and you can submit the report. So great. So we have learned so far. We have gone through some of the experiences around the project management. Why, how you can sell, how you can make use of SCOM more than just a monitoring tool, and you can appraise it to the sell it as a service to your customer. It's time for a quick poll before we move ahead with the next slide of integrations. I would request Charlotte if you can raise the poll for me. All right, we'll see what is your current role here. The whether to see that what kind of audience is interested in the session. Whether you are from the data center support, whether you are handling SCOM in your current job role, whether you are the tools architect, you also plan SCOM in your solution architecting the solution for tools, or you are the PM, or you are from the sales side of it. So we'll wait for the polls to come out. Interesting. We have most of most of the participants are these COM administrators, and there are some tools architect also, and the DC team as well. I'm sure this session so far was helpful to you, and maybe we can also catch up sometime in the big sessions as well to see how what are the maybe if there are some different practices that you are following when you plan your SCOM deployment. I would really like to interact with you uh, on this topic as well. Let's now move forward and see the some of the indications that I have come across in my journey of SCOM deployment or doing the uh, architecting for the tool solution. So once you have this SCOM deployment ready, it's important that SCOM or for that matter, any mounting tool do can only do so much unless and until it's integrated with the other tools to make most of it. And CMDB is one such tool, right? The first and the foremost recommendation would be CMDB, either that is managed by manually by your infrastructure team, or you also might be having the automatic CMDB in place. So CMDB houses details of a CI that includes the version details, application in it that belongs to the technical owners, the business owners, right, and their email addresses and their contact details as well, and a lot more other information about the application infrastructure. So having this implementation and integration in place will enable SCOM to pick up the meaningful information from CMDB, and it will also enrich the information provided by an alert. Right? It will also be easy to design and to do the diagnostic and the recovery or remediation task out of the alert for the SCOM administrator. As discussed, in our previous slides, uh, based on the customer requirement and the mounting solution that is provided to the customer to cater their business, you would also have identified the management packs that are important. So gauge the default MPs, or if needed, customize the MPs or go for the third-party MPs to provide the end-to-end solution. So now SCOM is also now integrated with CMDB MPs. What next? I can do integrate SCOM with the ITSM solution. The email notifications and the messages sending the SCOM sending the messages, I would say is a very primitive way of processing the alerts. Integrate SCOM with ITSM so that you create the meaningful incident, and that can be passed to the right support groups. There are possibilities of multiple type of integration. Will not go in detail about it, but it could be that SCOM is landing all the alerts in a one primary group, the system, the ITSM group, right? And there the first level team is handling all those alerts, and they are further passing it to the support groups, example the Wintel or the Lineage team or the Unix team, and so on and so forth, right? Or maybe they're also directly all the alerts are going to their support queues for them to handle the incident better. Right? Imagine that now you also have integrated SCOM, CMDB, management packs, integration with the ITSM tool as well. What next? So how important is the so how you will visualize the data, right? How we will make the comprehensive dashboard. Of course, there are features available in SCOM where you can create the custom dashboard based on the need of your support teams. You can scope the servers and the applications based on the teams that are supporting. But it's also important, even for the management as well, that you visualize and create the comprehensive dashboard for them to understand how the SCOM infrastructure is running, how their applications are behaving, how performing, how the underlying infrastructure, are there any major issues. So it's possible with the help of a reporting tool that you can integrate with SCOM, right? What next, right? What if you have more than, apart from SCOM, you have other monitoring solutions as well, right? Maybe for network, of course, there are capabilities in SCOM where you can explore SCOM apart from the infrastructure. You can use SCOM as an APM tool. You can also do the network monitoring with each passing version. SCOM new features and functionalities are added to it. But there is a scenario possible that the different teams are using different monitoring tools, and every that tool is integrated with the ITSM solution. In that case, you can place a MOM layer tool, which can take inputs from all of the first level or the event management tools and can send the alerts to ITSM. In that case, you may would like to want to integrate CMDB with the MOM, so that the CA information is populated for the all the CAs that are coming from the different tools, right? Also, you also may integrate ITSM in that case with a reporting tool, where it will also, apart from the SCOM alerts, it will also give you the information regarding your incidents. You would like to know that from which particular CI the alerts are coming up, from which data center we are getting most of the alerts, right? From which application we are getting the most of the alerts in last 6 months, or in last 3 months, in last month or a week before, right? What are the how you can know with the incident that were raised because of the SCOM alerts, how you can do the problem management with that. So in that case, you can integrate reporting tool also with ITSM solution. A SCOM integration is also possible with the orchestrator layer tool, where you can run your automated workflows for SCOM alerts to do the auto remediation or auto healing. SCOM also can be integrated with the RPA tool. RPA is nothing but the robotics process automation, where the bot will pick up these SCOM alerts and will create the tickets in the ITSM solution. Right, so there are different vendors which are available for the RPA solution. RPA also can do the auto remediation of the alerts. Can run the workflows behind on the servers, or run some scripts to automate your. Right, before we go to the next slide, I would request Charlotte to raise the poll. Are you facing any challenges in your SCOM implementation and operations? Wow, that's most of the participants are saying, more than 50% are saying yes. I would be really interested to know what are those challenges. We can connect sometime offline, or maybe in the coming break sessions over throughout the day. And let us discuss what are such challenges. I would also interested to know maybe what is your the key pain point, right? So what is the biggest challenge that you have with your customer in implementing Scrum? Where we are lagging with the competency, or maybe you're lagging with the process. Let us see. We can discuss that as well. Let's move forward with the second last slide of the session, the alert correlation, enrichment and mapping. Right. So it's important that after integrating SCORM with the IT solution, CMDB, even if the MOM layer is there in between, now we do the, we participate in the alert mapping process with the process architect. Now define the priorities in sync with what is getting monitored on SCORM, and explain the input and urgency, so that you create only the meaningful incident for your support team to work. Based on my experience, I would say that avoid creating a P1 alert, P1 incident through an alert. Right? Let the human touch come into picture, and let the team escalate the P1 incident from a P2 incident. In the slide, if you see, this is just a sample of the mapping that can be done at the SCORM level, and if you have the manager layer in between, and the ITs and priorities also. Right. I in the do's, I have depicted two person, Ram and Ravan. Ram always ensures that that the SCORM is always maintained at least in -1 version, right? Of course, you can deploy the latest version of SCORM as well, but at least this is maintained. He also ensures that the UR is updated timely, installed timely, and the MPs are updated timely. He creates a dashboard for his teams. He integrates SCORM with the ITSM solution, explore the third-party MPs and plugins which are available. Whereas in Ravan, he proceeds the SCORM deployment without assigned SOW. He's not sure what are the in scope and out of scope of SCORM deployment. He also is not having the clarity about how to the P1, P2 support that he is to provide. At times, the P1, P2 support is also expected apart from the 8x5 support, maybe on weekends. So keep a note of it as well. He is not also aware of opening the Microsoft support cases. You might be wondering that it's possible that in your customer scenario environment, maybe the support contract is getting renewed or in the process of renewal, and you are stuck in a major P1, you may not reach out to Microsoft. So have that information handy. And be aware of your roles and responsibilities, so that you can reach out to the right people in your organization to escalate the issue and to service the customer better beforehand. With this, I have come to end of my session. I hope this content helped you in certain aspects, or maybe all of it. I would be more than happy to connect with you folks. They follow SCORManix. Feel free to reach out to me for discussions, brainstorming sessions, challenges or anything. Thank you again to all the attendees for your time, and the organizers to have arranged such a fantastic event for SCORMity and SCORManix.